You are live. Can you imagine if that sign popped up every morning when you woke up and said, you are live? What would your reaction be? What's up, guys? Hey, it's Friday night. It's 5 o'clock. It's happy hour. And so brought to you by those at the Kick-Ass Unstoppable place, your place for motivation, inspiration, and education. We're here at Friday night, 5 o'clock. As always, just bringing you the joy, the cheer, the fun, the conversation of what's going on in the world today. And I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. Beautiful himself, Mr. Scott Goyette. What's going on, Scott?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing mighty fine, sir. Cheers. What are you having today? A glass of grasshopper juice?
I've got a bottle of 365 Whole Foods alkaline water to keep me basic.
Keep you basic. You're not a basic
stay
person,
alkaline. You
Scott.
stay basic.
You're not a basic person, Scott.
No, I'm standard. I'm just standard.
Nah, you are super. In the definition of it, you are super kick ass. So how's the week been treating, man? Good to see you.
It's good. It's good.
I haven't seen you for 45 minutes.
35. I think it was 35. Yeah, we just so it's been a good week. Lots of work, lots of fun. We took a midweek break and went out on Wednesday to Horseshoe Bay Resort, and there were 2 days in a row were 85 plus degrees in Austin. So we were sitting in a pool and a jacuzzi. I couldn't eat any good food because I'm on this silly veggie and juice diet, but I had a nice time just relaxing. So that was good.
Dude, those pictures you sent, the video you sent was insane. I mean, being
no one there.
It's 85 degrees and there was 0 people there. I mean, this is the time in a way. I mean, obviously there's situations going on, but if you want to deal and you want privacy, that's the place to go, right?
It's amazing. And I was supposed to come see you on Monday, but we've got everybody in the world saying don't travel. So we were going to have some fun. We were going to have 3 days and actually do our final class from our coaching program live together, which would have been so cool. But, the world dictates otherwise. But I feel like I was looking at the plane I would have been on. There was like 10 people on the plane. Like, I feel like I would have been safer than here. I feel like somehow in my house, I have a better chance of getting COVID than I would on that plane. There's like no one on it. There would be nobody at the hotel, nobody at the beach, but so be it. The world doesn't want us.
When you told me that there would only be 10 people on the plane, wouldn't that kind of freak you out? Wouldn't that feel weird? I don't know. I kind of like getting on a plane knowing that if I'm going down with the rest of us. But if it's only 10 people, I'm like, man, I've never been on an empty plane. That's crazy.
It's funny you say that. There's 2 times we were on like crazy situations with planes. Once I forget where I was coming back from. It was some like one of the ski mountain areas or whatever. I was the only person on the plane. They made some kind of a switch. I was literally the only person on the plane. This was years ago. This was like 20 years ago. It was the weirdest feeling ever. I was in the front corner seat, just sitting there like, are you kidding me? And then Kim and I were in Monterrey, Mexico, probably like 15, 20 years ago, in one of those little tiny planes. It was just me and her. And I'm sitting on the plane, and I'm like, this is so weird. It's just us. And the guy kept telling us, you have to sit across. You can't sit in, because the weight of the plane, because it's like a 15, 20-person plane. And all of a sudden, there's something crawling on my foot. There was a turtle on the plane with us. It was me, Kim, and the turtle crawling along my foot. So we're like, what do we do with this turtle? And the guy's like, I'll take it and give it to my kid. So some kid right now has a pet turtle that was found on an airplane. True story. It's a weird thing crawling on your foot in a plane, though. I'll tell you that. And I was wearing sandals, so I felt it.
Well, that's better than my cockroach story.
What's your
cockroach? Involve a plane. But actually, since we're just telling stories here, one time when I was at work, I used to get there first thing in the morning, and of course, you slide your feet under the desk, and I'm like sitting there typing, and I'm like, I felt my pant leg, and I thought it was like a hair on my leg, like was itching. You ever had it? You're like, oh, okay, scratching it. And I'm like, God, that is really bugging me. And all of a sudden, it moved and it crawled up past my knee, and I'm like.
It's in your face, and you killing.
I beat my leg into submission. It will do anything I want it to do now. It's scared shitless of me. I was like, "What the hell was that?" But no, I've had so many weird plane stories. But you were the only person on like a large plane, like a 747,
a real plane, yeah, like a legit, 80-seat plane.
I'd be like, "Where are you guys taking me? This is some sort of fucking Matrix shit."
That's creepy. It's kind of snakes on a plane or something. Like something's coming in to get me. But I was, I'm still here, so it all worked out.
Yeah. Hey. We got a special person here tonight. Let me see if I gotta remember how to do this for my iPad. Hey guys, we got to quit meeting like this. Teresa, hey, it's so great to see you. Thank you very much for spending your Friday night with us. Hopefully there in Georgia you have a particular beverage you might be having, whether it's coffee, tea, or for me it's a little Jack Daniels tonight because I'm about to go crazy and not have alcohol for like 3 months at least.
Yeah, I'm in that.
So that's one thing that Scott and I we've often joked. You and I have often joked. How do you get that to stop? Hello, Rob Morgan. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, brother. Hope you have a drink with us. And Darlene says, "I'm back." Darlene, I swear to God, I can't wait to hug you. You are such a sweetheart. I just seeing your progress and seeing everything that you're going after is just amazing. But what was I gonna say? I've got my family out here. I'm just outside enjoying. Just to show you guys, got a little fire going. My dog's out there on the lawn, just blessed, man. I think about 2020 and I'm like, there's aspects of it where I look back and I'm like, wow, there was some like dark periods and rough times that, both you and I went through independently of different things. Yeah. And helped a lot of people and just talked to a lot of people this year. I mean, I've talked to more people and I've met more people virtually than any other year of my life, dude. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I just always sit back and I just look up at the sky, and I'm not a religious person, you know that, but I just look up and I'm like, thank you. Just wherever you are, thank you. It's, I'm just so blessed. What about you, man?
Same, dude. It's, again, you keep coming back to that thing everyone keeps saying, where we're all in the same ocean. We're not in the same boat. There's no doubt about that. But at some point you've got to realize that this was a year of lessons, and what you do with those lessons is up to you. So gratitude is at the foundation of everything that I do daily. And, I feel insanely blessed. I also feel blessed for the things that didn't go so good, because those were the mortar to building, this foundation. So even the things that sucked, I'm cool with it. It's not what my choices were, but it's got me to this moment right now to be in service to others. So I'm all about it.
Yep. And talking about in service to others, that is a great segue. Thank you, buddy. You always know how to deliver like the handoff.
Even though I don't even know what you're going to say, I still just know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at this smile backstage, this smile that if you guys could see this, at home, I have a dashboard where we kind of produce this from, and I can see the person in our green room, and there's like this little box, and like your face only takes up like a little part of the box, but her smile takes up the entire box. You guys love her. We love her. Miss Serena Bufferino. How are you, Serena? Good to see you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight, informally here at 5 o'clock happy hour. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so excited to be here. And what I love the most about both of you is that we never plan anything. Like literally, Chris messaged me like an hour ago and said, hey, do you want to jump on with Scott and I tonight? And I said, yeah, let me just move a couple meetings around and I'll be there. And I just got home from my dinner, and I'm super excited to be here and to share everything that is going on during the pandemic, during December madness is what I'm calling it, and the spirit of gifting, really, and using every minute right now to be the best we can. So I'm super excited.
You are a beacon of tenacity, of unstoppableness, of courage, of giving, of heart. You really are. I mean, you're just a dynamo. And Scott and I were just talking about airplane stories, and I know that you just took a couple of airplanes around to different places. Talk to us a little bit about it. Tell us what you've been up to, because in light of 2020 and all the stuff going on here domestically in the States, obviously we have 196 other countries, Scott, I can't remember exactly what it is, 193 more other countries. 193 other countries around the world with people dealing with stuff, and you have to be a torchlight for some of those countries. Let's talk about what it is that you're doing and what's going on with all that, given what's going on in the world.
Wow, thank you. And so it's so funny that you say that, because it was 3 weeks ago that I had traveled. First, I was in the States I was there during the election. And from the States, I had a couple meetings there, setting up some stuff. And then I traveled to Haiti. And then from Haiti, I was meant to go to Spain, but Spain got canceled because of the lockdown and COVID. But, 3 weeks ago seems like so long ago, because how much is happening on a daily basis. But I will say I was laughing when you guys were telling the plane stories, because when I arrived to the airport to start my trip, my flight got canceled. And any normal person, I think maybe, given there were heavy storms in the USA, there was the election, and then there's COVID. And so my flight got canceled, and my original trip was supposed to be Toronto to Miami. One simple flight. And then I was going to spend a couple of days in Miami and go to Haiti. Getting attention. When I showed up to the airport and they told me my plane was canceled, I was like, again, on a mission. I need to get there, whatever it takes. It ended up taking me 5 flights to get to Miami.
Get the fuck out of here.
I went all across the States in a plane, and it took me 38 hours of travel to get to Miami, which would only take usually 3 hours. And I laughed because some of the planes that I got on we were like sardines, you couldn't move. And then some, like 1 or 2 of the planes was like 10 people, right? So I guess, it whatever the dynamics was, it was quite bizarre. It ended up taking me 7 planes to get then from Miami to Haiti. And every plane ride was exceptionally different, but, actually 2 very big contacts and big leads came out of me talking to the people on the plane, right? And it led to part of what is happening right now. So originally I had flown to the US to secure some partnerships for our charity. And I say our charity because everybody's involved. It's a Help Heal Humanity is the charity. So I was in US solidifying some relationships and connections there. And then I was in Haiti. And in Haiti, the main mission of that trip was to continue our sponsorship program for our kids attending our school programs, but to start new partnerships with Rotary International. So it was all, and depending on what country you're in, like when I was in the US and I showed up to breakfast with a mask on, everybody looked at me like I was a weirdo. Like I actually felt like I was like a criminal. But coming from Canada, where we're wearing masks and we're social distancing and we're actually honoring that, then to go to the US and seeing that nobody was, where I was at least, was honoring that, was like, wow. And then when I got to Haiti, they don't think that, COVID exists at all. So I didn't wear a mask because if I was wearing one, then they assumed that I had a problem. And, so many people were texting me like, Serena, where's your mask? Where's your glove? I'm like, nope, none of that. And, I'm going to take the risk. Yeah, exactly. I'm a little bit too fearless sometimes. And again, it all depends where you are in the world and what is happening in that place. And you do your best just to go in and continue to spread love and joy and positivity. And, that's what I hope to do anywhere I go. So, yeah, traveling is a little bit bizarre right now, but I don't always listen to the rules. So I don't know, that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. But yeah, it's a thing. And so since I came home, I had to quarantine, by law. I did take a COVID test and it still didn't exempt me from having to quarantine. And so I quarantined, and in my quarantine, I decided to set up a feeding program that Help Heal Humanity would feed 10,000 families over a 10-day period from December 14th to the 24th. And in addition to that, Christopher's on our USA board. So we have a big meeting on Monday for that. And it just continues. You just keep saying yes to possibilities, and you just keep going, and you don't think about the day, the time, the country. You just think about the impact.
Serena. Serena. What do you say to that, Scott? I mean, geez, I sit there and I like stroke her ego, and I mean, not even ego. I'm just blown away by your passion, your tenacity, your vision, your selflessness, your craziness. You're on it. I'm just so respectful of everything that you are and that you do. I just wish more people could find that. Scott?
It's authenticity. It's everything that we talk about: authenticity, transparency. Like, she's just being her. Like we're always saying, if you want to go. If you want to do this. Like, stop letting bullshit stop you. I mean, the only reason that maybe you or I are slightly different is we're in other relationships that we have to compromise here and there. But other than that, if there was zero rains and my choices brought me to zero rains, I'm pretty much walking to Haiti if I have to. I know the water part might make it a little difficult, but I could find myself a turtle. If I can find one on a little plane from Monterey, I could hop on a sea turtle and get in there.
Exactly. And it's like you said, like I am the, I have no really commitment to anything except for my job, which is I took that on upon myself. Sure. But I think my biggest excitement and the glow is really coming from the team, building the team. And as you guys both know, the co-founder of Help Heal Humanity being Patricia Gagic, and having somebody like that with a board to accommodate that. And as I see the right people coming to the table, I'm starting to see for the first time some structure. There's, stability, there's growth. And then with the right team, it's mind blowing how much we can grow. So what I'm super excited about is knowing that we still don't have as many people as we need to get to where we want to be, but it's slowly coming together. And that was one of the benefits of COVID. COVID made me sit still the longest I've ever sat still, to actually try to put some structure to my chaotic chaos, right? Mm-hmm. And then having a board would be the closest thing to like having a compromise, because they're like, again, I was ready to jump to Haiti. I was ready to go to the like extremely dangerous areas where, people were getting shot on a daily basis. And I would have done that wholeheartedly, without a doubt. It was, now I have to report to the team and the board, and they're amazing, and they're only looking out for my best interest. And so, they said, Serena, yeah, we support you going to Haiti, but we don't support you going to that area or that area. And I was like, oh, my parents are so proud. My parents are so proud that there are people that are continuing to parent me and, or, try to keep me on a leash. So that's what my board does to me. And I listen to them because, and I don't really listen to anybody, but I listen to them because I know that they only want what's best for me, but ultimately the charity. And as we build this community and I see this community growing, I feel like I'm the Energizer Bunny. I kind of feel like I'm on this crazy, sober adrenaline high that when I come down, I don't know what the consequences of it is going to be, but for now, it's all really positive, amazing things.
So your brilliance never has to come down. That's one of the beautiful things in this world. When you align into flow and you don't hold on to one thing specifically and you're in the flow, I don't think that goes away. I think the reason that people see those spikes is they're holding on to something that's not dynamic. You're holding on to a tree versus jumping into the river. Your thing is so fluid and so dynamic that just embedded in the growth, jump into the river, the brilliance won't dim until we expire from this world. So you're good. Just keep being you.
No, but you know what? You said it so much, and the more and more that, I know it sounds awful. I don't really pay attention to them. Like, I don't have TV. I haven't had TV for almost 25 years now. I do not read newspapers. I do not listen to that negative fear-based things that are being told to us on a daily basis. So I instantly don't allow my mind to get corrupted in the way most people only do because of nature of habits. And so the more and more I live this fearless life, it's like more and more in the flow I am. And I think that's also why I'm so excited, is because when I have the courage to ride that wave, it's unbelievable what happens. Like unbelievable. For example, plane from Haiti, like the person that I ended up sitting beside, we have a massive collaboration on December 24th now, where we're feeding 2,000 families that day. And, it's a massive company. And so for HHH to continue to collaborate with well-trusted organizations and names and brands, that's only going to elevate who we are in the world. And again, being in flow, it's, like even Chris, you said earlier, you don't really believe in God, but, it is I call it the universe, God, power, love, flow. When you are in flow, it's amazing how the universe just makes everything come together to support you. And that's what I'm talking about, this natural high on. It's yeah.
So what you're saying, Serena, is I just picked up on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have any resistance to what's going on. So most of us have resistance to what's going on. It seems like you really have found a place where you don't have resistance. Like you show up and this is where we're at and this is where we go.
Yeah. And, you know, and I understand, obviously, COVID has affected us all. You know, like I just sent out a letter to my donors. It took me a while to finally get it out to them, but it was, you know, in 2020, we had 13 live events scheduled around the world. And, you know, every event is a minimum of 5,000 up to 100,000. And so, you know, we lost 90% of our fundraising dollars, which is, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But our projects did not stop. And if anything, our projects have grown. So instead of getting upset about the fact that we couldn't meet or the fact that we're not getting the income that we once had, we really use that time to solidify our relationships, you know, to build our brand and to build it just based on service. You know, like you said, our whole foundation is based on love and service and gratitude. And so if people aren't joining our charity because they believe in what we're doing and are partnering or collaborating with us because of what the impact is having on others, it doesn't work, right? Because we don't pay people, we don't pay employees, and getting people to work during a COVID while unemployed, while going through somewhat of a depression is really difficult. But those people who really, I feel like, understand the importance of service, they show up. And again, being of service, especially when you're down and out, because you get to see the world in a different way. And you think you have it bad, but when you actually see what's out there in the world, you gain a perspective that I say puts a little extra pep in your step, because you realize you don't have it that bad at all. And then that little experience, like right now, feeding 10,000 families during COVID is so much harder than if it wasn't COVID, because our shelters have closed down. Usually I would take my volunteers into the shelters where the kitchens are there, where the homeless come to get the meal. But now the shelter is closed, the homeless are on the streets, they're scattered, finding a kitchen, finding the volunteers to get into a kitchen, then getting on the road and driving. Instead of what would normally be 1 or 2 stops where you're feeding 200-300, you're feeding 50 here, 50 there, because they're scattered in various tent cities around the city. And so coordinating all has been honestly the biggest chore ever. But people are craving it. You know, people are craving doing something different with this time that they have. And so for me, it would have been so easy for me to say no to the feeding programs this year because the shelters are closed. But there was no way I was going to say no. I said, let's feed 10,000 instead of just a few thousand. And now I am calling out for volunteers. Because the minute you give a volunteer experience like that, where they can look somebody in the eyes and hand them a meal and see that these homeless people or these people that have been evicted or these people who are going through such a struggle are human beings, just like you, just like me. And when people can see that these people are hurting and struggling far greater than we are, it does something to us. And to give people that experience and give people that that gratitude within themselves is one of the greatest gifts I could give. So I work harder and to make that happen for others. And happily, you know, I take it on knowing that I'm this on by myself. Nobody's told me to do this, but I know the outcome is going to be remarkable for so many people. And that's what keeps me going, is the outcome.
I'm going to go grab the batteries.
But I'm the only one talking here, so maybe I should stop talking.
No, we're just honestly just Absolutely. I mean, at least for me, I'm just always blown away at just how you're unselfish. You're just committed, at the risk of your own health, at the risk of your own life and everything else, that you just put that out there. I've read, I don't read the news. I'm like you. I don't read the news. I'm like a voyeur. I kind of look around, look at the headlines every once in a while. And I've seen some pretty startling headlines about what we can expect for 2021. I'm sitting here talking about 2021 is going to be one of the best years of my life. I've got my hopes and my visions and my dreams, but I also am seeing these headlines where they're saying that there's potential huge devastation that could happen over the human population across the world. What are you hearing about that? Are you seeing? Is that just bullshit from the news media, or is that something that really we could see one of the worst years in our life as far as for human beings on the planet?
This is the first I've heard of that. Because again, I live in this bubble where I think everything is perfect and beautiful and sunshine and butterflies. So I haven't heard the prediction that 2021 is supposed to be worse than 2020. That's a negative. To start
the initial headlines were talking about it because the donations are down. People who used to donate, they're just talking about the rippling effect of the economy and everything else. And part of that I know is if it bleeds, it leads. But there's a certain aspect of it, knowing you and knowing what you've been up against in going back into Haiti. And by the way, how is your employee doing? He got shot. Was he good or?
Yeah, well, we don't usually publicly announce that stuff. So.
Well, I mean, but there was. I thought never mind. I was kidding. I'm just putting you on the spot. I'm just making you laugh. No, I was kidding, ladies and gentlemen. That was a joke. No, but seriously, when I look at what you do and what we can all do as a collective whole. What you said was amazing. Is when you give somebody who needs it and it really deserves it, and they see that they feel like there's no hope. That's one of the most amazing gifts that you can give. How do you keep yourself going when you're down?
I think I purposely, at probably the age of around 20, I did a lot of inward work where I will tell everybody, my mom and my dad are the most important people in my life, so losing my parents was exceptionally difficult for me. But my parents, just like most Europeans, they have a different way of looking at life. Like my mom was a bundle of positive energy. My dad was a hardworking immigrant, but they kind of had that attitude, like, you got to work hard, you got to save your money, nothing comes, it was always like almost like life was a little bit hard and you had to work exceptionally hard at it. And I always had this like positive vibe about me. And so I could pick up on people's negativity and people's heaviness and their suffering. And I never wanted to be that. And I was that. And I needed to learn how to not be that. And I didn't have anybody to teach me how to not be that. So that's when I went on this serious self-help quest. And that self-help quest transformed me. And through the transformation of me, I was able to share that with what became Toronto's most at risk. And when you see some of the most at-risk youth and populations in the world suffering beyond, like, I worked with what was considered Canada's most extreme cases for abuse, child neglect, trauma, murder, like I said, rape, addiction problems. Like, I worked with the worst of the worst. And I put myself in situations and in communities that are suffering to a degree that, again, none of us would ever understand. But to know that you can be the light and that you can actually, like, and I would have never thought this if I didn't experience it. First within myself, when I saw my transformation. Then when I was able to pass on my lessons to my students. And I saw my students, the person who came into my program and the person who left my program, were not the same being, which I believe you probably are experiencing in your coaching courses. When you first meet your clients, they are suffering. And by the time they leave your program, they have the skills and the tools to be successful in life. And then when you see them use those tools for good, it feels good. And you're pretty much passing on that torch. And so for me to be able to know that somehow I was able to pass on that torch and that it continuously is growing and growing and growing is so beautiful. And because I can use my personal experience, I have a bipolar, schizophrenic, crack addict sister. I had a father who had a head injury, who had suffered a severe head injury, acquired brain injury, an alcoholic. You know, when you live that, experience it, and get through it, that's what makes you unstoppable, is overcoming all these challenges, all these things you're not capable of doing, and then you overcome them and you're like, holy shit, I did that. Like when I look back and reflect sometimes, I'm like, I can't even believe I did that. And that's also with two things there. None of what I was ever doing was doing it for an outcome. I never went to go serve the homeless. I've been serving the homeless for 15 years, actually 20 years, but nobody knows that. Everybody just knows recently that that's what I've been doing, because now I've made it my job, my career. So now I need to kind of put it out in the universe so people see and believe in what I'm doing. But for the first 20 years that I was doing this work, I wasn't doing this work trying to get to where I am now. I was just simply doing this work out of my heart. I was also transforming my pain, my hurt, my tragedies into something good, because I never want to be that negative person. I want to be the light. I want to help others. And if the only thing that I did, like I would say to my students, was be so silly that I made you laugh today and you forgot about your problems, then Miss B did a good job. And so I think because the universe, God, because my actions are truly done out of love and not ego and pride, that's why it's all working out for me. You know, that's why it will continue to work out for the charity, because it's like you said, everybody who is helping build this empire, nobody's getting paid, and they're putting in hours and hours and hours of work, you know. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, and if you're not doing this because you actually believe you can impact others, then it's not going to work, you know. And I think because the true intention is there and there is no ego, it's more love and conscious intentions and kindness and compassion. The simple things in life that we all have that we're not actually utilizing to the degree we should be is what is going to change the world. It's going to change you. It's going to change your family. It's going to change all the relationships. And the more you honor that, the more successful you're going to be. And when you take this path of servitude, a lot of people look at you like you're an idiot. Like, why would you do that? Why are you doing that? Or who does stuff like that? And again, being of service has ended up becoming my career now, you know, and my life shifted from helping others. And that's what I say, in helping others, we're not only helping ourselves, but we are literally transforming the planet. So go out and in your darkest, saddest days, especially the days that you want to stay in bed, the days that you want to jump out your window, try so hard to stop that thought process and just go out into the streets, go for a walk and look people in the eyes, smile at people. I noticed that when I'm, especially in Haiti, because I'm the white woman, so automatically I could be the poorest, sickest white woman in the world, but I'm looked at like I have lots of money and I have wealth and I have, you know, way more than they do, because I was born in a different country, and they're right. That automatically makes me have way more than they do. But they're always looking at me like, what is your intention? What are you doing here? Are you trying to be a hero? Are you trying to make yourself look good? And the minute I actually look people in the eye and I smile, instantly everything changes, because they can see the goodness. You know, when you cannot speak the language and the only language you have is nonverbal communication, that speaks volumes. And the minute you have the heart and you have the smile, I see right away, even just walking downtown Hamilton, people are not in the greatest mood, but I look at people and I smile and I can see right away they smile, even if 2 minutes later they're miserable, but for that 1 second, maybe they smiled. And that's what it's about, is increasing the smiles, increasing the love, increasing the kindness, because we are all hurting right now. We are all suffering right now. And if somebody can just come in and give you a hand, that can change everything. So be kind. If you don't have money, which most people don't this holiday season, just write everybody a Christmas card. You know, my family knows I do not buy Christmas gifts for anybody, but you will get a pretty card from me with all my little Sharpies and all my little multicolors and all my little hearts and stars and the messages of love to just let people know that they're loved and they're cared for. And with this feeding 10,000 families, the number of people who are showing up to say, okay, yes, I want to help you give out a hot meal, but what else can I give? Can I give a warm coat? Can I give a blanket? Can I give a gift card? And it's a lot to organize all of it, but there are people out there who get it and are jumping on board, and then they're inviting their friends, and that's how it grows. It grows word of mouth and giving people that experience. You know, I have a lot of kids right now doing little colorings, so when we hand out the food, there's a little message like from a kid who drew something really cute. And it's all those like little things that when you show up in freezing snow, these tents have water up to like, I don't know how these people are living. It's so sad. But when you show up and you look at them in the eye and you say, I'm just here to give you a meal, and here's a card, and or here's a pair of socks, these people look at you like, oh my God. And you just did something for them that for the, like having food in your belly is the greatest gift ever. And so many of us take that for granted, that we have food in our bellies.
So true, Serena. And Scott, you were just recently telling me about how you were going out and helping the homeless in your area, right?
Yeah, not to the extent of course what she's doing, but I went and cleared out a bunch of everything helps. Like and that's what I say all the time. Like, don't think that you just can't be good enough. Just be good. You know, you'll be enough. But you know, I cleaned out some stuff. We've got a lot of issues in town. Same thing that you've got going on up in Canada is they're trying to disperse these camps and stuff. But in doing that, then where are the people if they can't go get money here through collecting money? How are they eating? So what I want to make sure is, even though Texas isn't cold, this time of year we can get cold and we can go below freezing for a few nights. So we went and found, you know, blankets, and it was so funny because I'm 6'4", so I pull up and I'm like, hey, I don't know if these clothes will fit anybody. Out of this guy pops out of a tent, he comes over and goes, hey, you don't have anything that will be my size. And we're looking eye to eye, and I go, as a matter of fact, I do. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I do. He's like, are those 13 shoes? I'm like, yes, they are. He's like, yes. So it was really, you know, it might be the last time I see him or whatever, but it was just really cool that the universe is like, stop at this camp because there's going to be a guy who's going to walk out saying, and that's how the, you know, that's how it works.
Exactly. That's how it works, right? Because you just have a pure intention, and somebody sees that pure intention, and then everything works out to support that. Yeah.
And that's something that I you know, Chris and I like go through this in our coaching. And I think it's one of the most important things that people can understand in life is your eyes are that view to the soul. So when somebody looks at somebody, I remember Kim used to always say, you're very judgmental with people. And I'm like, I'm not judgmental. I don't like them. And she goes, why don't you like them? I go, because I looked into their eyes and I looked into their heart. And it was quick. I'd be at like a party and she's like, what this person's the nicest guy. I'm like, no, they're not. And she's like, you're being judgy. And then like 2 years later, you find out all the stuff about them. And I'm like, it's not that they're a bad human. They're making mistakes, but I could see their lack of positive intent and like good intentions.
You know, both of you have spoken about this, but you had a guest on, I think it was while I was in Haiti. Yes, her name was Yvonne. I can't remember her last name, but she was talking about the sixth sense, how everybody uses the five senses, but there's that sixth sense. And that sixth sense, and both of you guys, I know, feel this, especially Chris, with our ADHD. We, I think, are so tuned in. And when I walk into a room, it's like I can hear everybody's conversation, right? It's like you said, Chris, when you look people in the eye, you can see their soul. And I know in Haiti, when I'm looking at people, which people I look at and smile, and which people I kind of just look at and you know, shit, I got to get out of here. You know, doesn't matter what I'm going to say or do. So those are, like you said, looking. Patricia says Yvonne Silver. Yes, looking in people's eyes, reading their souls, and knowing who's good and who's not good, when to walk away, when to keep going. And those are key components, especially for the work that we do at Help Heal Humanity, because we're not just going into communities, we are going into the hardest to serve communities and not speaking the language.
Yeah.
So
what's happening there is we're really defining what the superconscious and your intuition is, because you're connecting to the depth of the superconscious. So if I've got a, let's just say going down my chakras past root, I'm going into source. So if there's that connection to source, when I see somebody, what's happening is it's literally a conduit looking through me from superconscious saying, be careful. It's giving me the answers in a response that I can feel. I don't understand it, but I go, no, good, continue. Oh, I love this person. Oh, I have to continue with this person. Like when we all met, we're like, oh my God, we got to do something. You had that energy, and no one needs to explain it. We didn't have to talk about it. We're just like, oh yeah, we'll do stuff together. And you just know.
Yeah.
And that's just source saying, it's kind of going right direction, right. Ding, 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 ding. And it's telling us who to connect with. And so if we don't resist and we stop saying, I need to talk to that person because they can give me something, or that person. No, walk over to the janitor who all night you've been looking, going, do I know you from somewhere? And become connected to that person, because that's the path. We have the illusion, the path. That's who I have to impress. That's what I get to do. And it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
That's why, honestly, I keep saying your wives are both going to kill me. To your wives, I'm joking. I'm sarcastic. But I joke around that my 2 boyfriends have wives. It's perfect. And we all live in different countries.
She's good. She's good at sharing anyway. I'm sure she wants to get rid of me. That actually will buy her more vacations. She can go.
Kim did write on one of the posts. Kim did.
I think she did. I think she said, I will gladly, I'll donate him. That's 2 weeks that I can go out dancing or go on yoga retreats. So. Yeah.
And Chris, look at Chris over there pretending with his wife. You're so funny, and that's why.
No, she's not. No, she's actually over there. She's actually over there making some more lawn decorations for our Christmas lights. No,
I think Crim's doing the same thing. Actually, she's wrapping a tree right now. I think she's out front doing that.
Yeah, we're actually. This is live, so you guys can. Our little.
Oh wow!
Well, we can't really see. I don't know. Anyways, that's not important.
See all your candy cans all lit up and your Christmas trees. Like, you guys totally do it up.
Yeah, no, the Griswolds are next door. That's no joke. From December 1st till January 15th, I call the next guy. His name's Kevin. I sit there and say, "What's up, Griswold?" Because they literally go balls out. It's crazy. It's really good. I have a sign in front of my yard that goes, "Yeah, we're okay, but go check out that house."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But to you guys' point is, and I think it's really an important point to make. We made it earlier that we did for some very special people, and we talked about the fact that, and I was just early today on here, and we're all and sometimes we need to remember that when we're not, like, I think I just keyed in on that with you, Serena, so thank you. When we're not in resistance to what is possible and what is potential, and I use the word perhaps a lot, and if we open our possibilities up to perhaps that things, perhaps doors can open, perhaps I will meet the people I need to meet through some extra effort, like Scott, you were just saying before, like, hey, just have a conversation with the guy in the sauna. You never know who you're going to meet and who they know. I think that's an important note to really say that for 2021, for those who have had resistance to change and resistance to being uncomfortable and resistance to what might be possible and resistance to even thinking that you enjoy or that you deserve, like we started at the very beginning. If you're punishing yourself and you need to figure out forgiveness, then you need to do that. But I love what you said, Serena. Just be in the moment and go with it, and trust your gut and trust your heart, not go by what your brain says and what all the other people would think. Oh, that would be stupid. I mean, how many times, Serena, have you been told you're stupid or crazy for what you do?
I was told, and I mean, clearly I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. I have problems with reading and writing. Like, I was in the special education classroom all through elementary school and in the principal's office all through high school. So I've always been told that I'm not normal, I've always been told that I was kind of stupid because I couldn't read or write. And, so I got used to that one. But even now, like you said, nobody told me to do this. I gave up willingly because I wanted to. So I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I gave up my job, my security, my pension, and a very good job and a very good security and a great pension to pursue this life of service and this life of helping others because I wanted to. And everybody tells me I'm crazy. And then again, going into the neighborhoods that we go into, going on the streets, you know how many people say, Serena, you can't go do it by yourself. And this is a true story. It happened yesterday, going into the tent cities in Toronto at the nighttime. Everybody, like big men, security, police, everybody told me, Serena, you can't go in by yourself. And okay, I won't go. And where do I go? And again, it's something about the intuitive nature that I can't give you the perfect plan. I can't give you the perfect structure in the organization, but I can trust my intuition and my gut in a way that I can't trust anything else. And that's what leads me. That's what guides me. And I don't always listen to what I'm supposed to be doing according to others, but I trust my spirit to lead me and to guide me. And it's that keeps me going. And yeah, one of the ladies turned around yesterday night to me when I was in the neighborhood that I shouldn't be in, and there was a problem. And she looked at me and she goes, I don't know what I would do if you weren't here right now. And she goes, but how can a little girl? And the funny thing is, they think I'm a little girl. Oh, you're a teenager, you can help. I'm like, no, I'm not a teenager, but that's okay. And she said, I've been here with men and I've not felt as safe as I feel with just you. And it's because my intention is really pure. And it got hectic. It got a little bit out of control. And I looked at the guy and I was like, come on. And I instantly was able to de-escalate the situation by my silliness and my heart and my compassion. And then 10 minutes later, we were all laughing and we were cheering. And then they were helping me proceed with what we were trying to do, and again, if I didn't have this internal strength, I wouldn't be able to be where I am. And I keep telling everyone, and I know she's listening, and I don't know if she's going to like what I say, Patricia is the brains behind this charity. She's got the skills, the academics, the connections. She's got the class, the sophistication, and I'm a little bit of the crazy one, And so putting Patricia and I together is a beautiful marriage of love, because with her smarts and her wisdom and my courageous heart that wants to help and serve everybody regardless of the consequences, we form a great partnership that builds charities, that builds boards, and that builds volunteers and people to believe in us. And I'm never going to stop being on the grounds. Like, I keep telling people, they think I'm a big CEO or I'm a big this or I'm big that. I'm like, no, that's actually not what I am at all. When I really shine is when I'm on the grounds in these places. And so I can't wait to get to the point where our charity is doing all the right work, that I can stop being the person behind the desk and be on the grounds 24/7, because I know more than anything in the world, that my true purpose in life is not trying to come up with a big plan, is maybe having the dream, having the vision, having the team help me execute that and let me go on the grounds, because I know on the grounds is where I excel, right? And not a lot of people can thrive in the environments that I thrive in. And that's my gift. My gift is being in these communities, being in the jails, being in the hospitals, being in the hospice centers, being on the streets, being in, like I said, what Mother Teresa describes the hardest kilometers in her life, and shining. And, you said, Chris, there's been a lot of trouble in Haiti. There's been countrywide lockdowns. There's been protests. There's been shootings on a daily. There's been shootings in my community with my family members, with the children, and even, one of my team members. And that team member, was just dying to get out of the hospital and go back on the grounds to continue that mission that he was doing. And I told him, I said, I love you. I said, but we are a charity and we are growing, and this kind of thing cannot keep happening. We can't keep putting people's lives in danger, because that's no good. And he's like, well, Serena, you didn't tell me to do it, and I'm going back and I'm going to let you know what happened, even without your permission, because those are the people like me who have the heart, and 99% of the time, nothing's going to stop us. And like my partner in Haiti, not even a gunshot stopped him. And he refuses to stop. He refuses to stop working with that community. And when I told him we need to reconsider, he said, no way. I'm not reconsidering, and I'm not leaving those families. So what do we need to do to put the right precautions in place so that you continue to support this, because we're not abandoning those families that need us. And when you have soldiers like that working for you, nothing can stop you. And, at that particular shooting, 4 people were in that spot when that happened. Only one of them was an HHH guy. All 3 of those guys killed instantly. And he's the only one that had exceptionally small injury and walked away. So again, that's the pure.
Wow.
That's
something.
Yes. The heart, the soul, the spirit, the unexplainable. Why was he the only one that didn't die and instantly, And I think it's because he was on a mission that was so much greater than himself that he made it.
I buy into that 100%.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
that is craziness. Patricia says, the universe has gifted us with Serena. We must support her heart, brain, and she is brilliant. Trust me. Yes, you are. You definitely are. I put it up here again. I'm going to put it up here again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just like an informal show of us just getting together at 5 o'clock happy hour. But Serena, you have been such a staunch supporter of what Scott and I have been doing with Friday Night Lives and on both of our shows. And, your radiance and everything that you do and you give in this world is just such a beacon for everybody who is looking at their shoes and going, oh, man, poor me. Like you said it before. Poor me, oh, this sucks. Did you go to a room in your house and turn a faucet and get hot water coming out of the wall? I mean, that's pretty cool. Did you go shit in a toilet and get to wipe your butt with like soft napkins? I mean, it's pretty amazing what we can go through. So we're putting the scrolling thing down here. If you guys can do anything, whatever you could possibly do.
We just updated our website, so it looks pretty good. We're getting to where we want to be. So please check out our website. And, we are a formed legal charity in Canada, in the USA, and in Europe. So people can make donations, they can get tax receipts. And we actually have Christopher on our USA board. And as our USA projects and initiatives continue to increase, his audience will just know more about it and how to get involved and how to help. Because it's like you guys said, it might not be that you have money, but you have heart and you have spirit, and that's going to go way beyond the money, way beyond. And when people see that, and I think, people have to be creative right now because COVID has stopped so much of their way of life and their way of being. And unless you get creative, you are going to just spiral out of control. So we can, the light workers, the warriors, we can provide those little tools to people to help raise them up. And we can give the experiences for them to know that, if Toronto's most at-risk youth stood up to the plate to help kids across the world, then anybody in the world can step up and lend a helping hand to their neighbor, to their friends, to their family. And that's all we need to do is literally just be kind, be grateful, and spread more love. And just those little acts that don't include money or education, those acts alone will save our planet. And regardless of what the predictions are for 2021, I don't believe in them. And if you can get out of believing that and start to create a better vision for your 2021, regardless of what people are saying, then you're going to be okay. So make your path and take steps every day to create that outcome for yourself. And you're for sure 100% going to run into so many obstacles, but they're learning lessons. And when you see them just as a learning lesson, like, oh, I messed up. Okay, let's go this way. And you don't harp on the screw up, and you just continue to go with the rhythm and the flow, no matter, what it is. It's all going to turn out to be amazing and successful. And we're all going to have a beautiful Christmas and a beautiful New Year, and F what everybody else says.
Ladies and gentlemen, Serena Buffalino. Serena, you are such a beacon. Thank you so much. Hang on backstage. We're just gonna close out the show. You are awesome. HelpHealHumanity.org. Go check it out. And Scott, final thoughts, brother. Final thoughts.
Yeah. So when you look at somebody like Serena, the thing you got to realize is she's connecting from heart to source. So when source says you've got to go to Tent City, when source says you've got to go to Haiti, what happens is our heart receives that connection from source, and then we filter it in our brain, and that's where fear comes into play, right? Then we say, oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, my amygdala is firing, I don't know. This is what I think. He's sitting here saying that she's not that smart. I think she's so smart, she doesn't use the brain as the filter. She goes and acts on her heart instantaneously, and so she's in motion, just doing and being what the heart wants her to be. I would challenge more of you guys to do the same thing, because the minute it goes to the brain from the heart and from source, that filter will give you every excuse to not do it. Whether it's coaching, whether it's go be the best person, whether it's volunteer, whether it's go to Haiti, your brain will stop you from being the best you possible, but your heart knows the truth. And I'll leave you with that, because that's what I think we just saw in Serena Buffalino.
Absolutely. And Patricia says, thank you, Scott, for your incredible support. Thank you, Kristen, for your incredible support. We love you. Yes, 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 yes. Teresa says, yes, Scott. Absolutely. All right, brother. Well, I know you got to get off and, well, that sounds bad.
Yeah, I just got to get back to the family. I made some commitments to family.
Even my wife is like, oh, yeah.
I can hear her laughing her head off back there. Yeah, she's like, that sounded great. All right.
All right, brother. We'll go backstage for a second if you can, and then I'll see you in a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ooh, I'll just keep my glasses on because I look all intelligent. There you have it. 5 o'clock happy hour. Informal, just a little conversation with myself, Scott, and the amazing Serena Buffalino. We bring Serena on because she is really the beacon of absolute light and energy and unselfishness and vision for what the world can be. And some people call that grandiose. Some people think that's insane. Some people say that's psychotic. But what's crazy is, back in the day, if you would have said, hey, by the way, you're going to have this amazing ability one day to check the fucking internet from a phone, we would all said, no. We're going to be able to see visual people on the phone. We're going to be able to have video conversations. People would have said no. You can run a 4-minute mile. People said no. Guess what happened after the 4-minute mile? 3 people ran it the next year. So the power of belief, the power of the opportunity that you guys can go out there and impact the world is amazing. When you get out of your own way, when you forgive yourself, when you have empathy for other people and their situations and their journeys, when you sit there and realize that you have so much abundance. I'm sitting outside with my family right now. Do I have problems? Do I have issues? Do I have stuff I can sit here and bitch about for the next 20 minutes? Of course I do. It's life. It's humanity. But at the moment right now, it's a beautiful moment. The lights are on. Everything's happening. So here's what I say to you guys. Go out there and count your blessings. Here's a tip that we shared earlier on our private masterclass. We sat there and said, hey, when you learn to really appreciate what it is that you have, when you wake up in the morning, before your eyes even open, you say what you're grateful for. When you say what your intentions are for that day. So I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for the sheets I have. I'm grateful for the people who made my bed. I'm grateful for electricity. I'm grateful for plumbing. I'm grateful I can wipe my butt with toilet paper. And then you sit there and say, okay, my intention for the day is to be present and playful with my kid. My intention today is to be productive and supportive of humanity. My intention for today is to be positive and not look at the negativity in the world. And then you sit there after that and say your affirmations. I believe I deserve wealth. I believe I deserve abundance. I believe I deserve to meet the people I'm supposed to do. Do those 3 things every single day. Do some exercise. Take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Eat. And keep your eye on the prize. And you will certainly succeed. Absolutely. I'm your No Excuses coach. This has been 5 o'clock happy hour. I'm going to go spend time with my family. I love you guys. Please reach out to Serena. Please reach out to Scott. And we love you guys. Thank you guys for spending time with us, and go have a great evening. Go make some awesome moments. I know I am. All right. Peace out.